Good morning, it's Wednesday the 10th of November. When flicking through a book on my study shelf the other day, I came across a reference to Be Nice to Nettles Week. It made me stop what I was doing and get distracted to read some more. Unfortunately, we've already missed Be Nice to Nettles Week this year, as it happened back in May. But I wonder how many of us were even aware of that week, or that Be Nice to Nettles Week began back in 1991. I can't say that nettles are a favourite of mine. We have quite a few of them in the manse garden that seem to grow far too quickly. Seeing nettles always takes me back to Sunday school outings at Mount Edgecombe Country Park in Cornwall, where we used to picnic and play games. All too often, a ball would end up in a patch of nettles and need to be retrieved, usually with a few stings from the nettles. And yet nettles aren't all bad. My book also tells me the best way to pick nettles for nettle soup and nettle tea. It says that nettles add a high amount of nitrogen to the soil and so stimulate other plants. So maybe I should leave them in the garden after all. And if you get stung and can't find a dock leaf, try aromatic herbs such as mint or rosemary, something again that I didn't realise. So there's so much more to nettles than just their sting. But these thoughts led me to thinking about a recent district development day, some online training where we were looking at theological reflection. One related thought struck me from that morning about the example of foraging. We could forage in two ways. Firstly, we'd go out looking for something in particular. We might go to a place that we already know that we can find that thing, maybe some nettles or fungi, and then we gather in what we came for. The second way to go foraging is to not know where we're going, to go somewhere new, with no particular aim, and just see what can be found at that place. Maybe you do go foraging and can relate to one of these methods. But it got me thinking, how does foraging relate to our faith? Well, do we always go to the same places, our favourite books of the Bible, or other books by our favourite authors that simply reinforce the ideas that we already have? Or do we use the second method, to explore parts of the Bible that we aren't familiar with, to see what we can find? Do we try and read new authors, maybe with a different viewpoint from our own, so that we're challenged to think about the assumptions we make, and whether we need to revisit them? By using this second method, we can discover so much more. Just like the nettles having so much more to them than just being there to sting passers-by, when we forage as part of our discipleship, we can discover new and exciting things which open up further possibilities for us. I'd like to end with a reflection from the book I referred to earlier that started all these thoughts. The reflection is by Carol Dixon and called The Dock and Leaf of Your Love. God of the sharp stinging nettle, and the soft, furry, white, dead nettle, we praise you for our senses, which help us to enjoy the world around us. Thank you for the tangy taste of nettle soup, and for Northumbrian nettle cheese, for the tender touch of dead nettle leaves brushing against bare skin. Help us to be sensitive to others when we are nettled by their actions, or stung by a harsh retort. May we respond with gentle words. Healing hurts with the dock and leaf of your love, known and experienced through Jesus, who noticed the flowers of the field, and that seed that fell into the nettle bed, and who taught us to recognize that we are all God's children, created to delight in the diversity of the earth, from the towering grandeur of the tall trees to the humble unpretentiousness of the nettle. Amen.